It is 9 o'clock, time to convene the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. We're going to let me get on the right page. Ask that everyone either silence or turn off your cell phones or any other devices as it is prohibited for them to be used during our meeting. Our invocation today is by Commissioner Gardy.
Let's bow our heads. Lord, may your goodness and love be present with us today. Come bless our meeting with unity, hope, and vision. Lord, build in each of us a deep respect for one another. Lord, we pray for hope. Come stir your hope within our hearts and renew our faith. Lord, we pray for vision. May your vision fill our lives as we seek to work for improving Wayne County. Amen.
Commissioner Gardy, pledge.
Please rise and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion that we approve the minutes of the September 8th and September 21st Board of Commissioners meeting? I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion?
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries. Adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Crumpler.
Yes, sir. Under special presentations, I'd like to add an item number 3, proclamation for Industry Appreciation Month. And under the consent agenda, we're adding a number 9, Resolution 2021-35, authorizing the Health Department recruitment and retention incentive pay. That's all I have.
Okay. Any of the commissioners have any additions that they'd like to add? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda.
Okay, I have a motion that we approve the agenda. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Okay. Special presentations, Mr. Crumpler.
Number 1 is a motion to approve the 2021 Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation.
I would like to read that, please, if I
Yes,
could
sir.
just get to the right page.
Page 14.
Okay. Whereas breast cancer touches every corner of the United States and hundreds of thousands of Americans will be diagnosed with breast cancer, tens of thousands will die from it, and whereas about 1 in 8 women born today in the United States will get breast cancer at some point in their lifetime, and approximately 2,000 men are diagnosed with breast cancer each year, and whereas we show our support for every individual and every family struggling with breast cancer, and we pause to remember those we have lost. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October is a chance to raise awareness about the importance of early detection in breast cancer, beginning mammograms, and encouraging our community, organizations, churches, families, and individuals to get involved. And whereas we salute the women and men who dedicate themselves to prevent and detection and treatment as we observe Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaim October 2021 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Wayne County, and encourage all citizens to join in activities that will increase awareness of what we can do to prevent breast cancer. Adopted this the 5th day of October 2021. George Winnicott Jr., Chairman. Well, I'd like to put that in the form of a motion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Any discussion or comments? I would like to make one comment. As many of y'all know, I am a survivor of breast cancer, and but I'm very blessed, but it's only 1% of breast cancer affects the male as males, and so that means that 99% is affecting females. So the percentage is not in y'all's favor. So I encourage if any ladies and men, if you got any indication that something might be going on, please get it taken care of, because I consider myself to be very blessed. Breast cancer is a cancer that they can control, and you can have a very long extended life if you catch it in time. And so, some cancers they don't have a handle on, but this one, thank God they do. So don't take any chances and stay on top of it. Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Next item.
Okay. Item number 2 is the motion to approve the 2021 Fire Prevention Month proclamation.
I think Mr. Kearney, Mr. Bruce Kearney is here, would like to read that proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Bruce Kearney. I'm the chairman of the Fire Prevention Committee for Wayne County Firefighters Association. I put my eyes on so I can see. Okay, whereas the County of Wayne is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Wayne County, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the location where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires kill more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA. And fire departments in the United States responded to 339,500 home fires. And whereas most smoke alarms sense the smoke well before you can, alerting you to the dangers in the event of a fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape a fire. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in a reported home fire in half. And whereas Wayne County residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarm and knows how to respond. Whereas Wayne County residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Wayne County residents will make sure their smoke alarms and CO alarms meet the needs of their family members, including those with sensory and physical disabilities. Whereas Wayne County first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Wayne County residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2020 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us it is important to learn the different sounds of a smoke and a carbon monoxide alarm. Now, therefore, the Wayne County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Fire Prevention Month throughout this county, and urges all the people of Wayne County to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week and to support the many public activities and efforts of the Wayne County Fire and Emergency Services.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gurley.
I make a motion we approve the 2021 Fire Prevention Month proclamation as read.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? I would like to thank Bruce and his team for what they do for fire prevention in the county. They've got a program set up and a trailer that they use, and they go around to a lot of the schools in the county teaching fire prevention, and also at other events they set up. And I just want to thank you in your group for volunteering because they don't get a dime for it. Their goal is fire prevention for everyone, but they really stress the importance of it with children. And I just want to thank you and your group for doing that.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Need a
Yeah, I'm fixing to. Okay, I'll have a motion on the floor. All in favor, show sign of right hand.
Mr. Williams didn't vote.
I'm sorry, yes. Apologize.
Let's go ahead and get the other special presentation, and then we'll move down to the public hearing.
Number 3 is the Industry Appreciation Month proclamation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
And Commissioners. I'm Julie Graham with the Wayne County Development Alliance. Thank you for allowing me to take this time to speak to you today. As you are aware, October has always been Industry Appreciation Month here in Wayne County. It is a time that we focus on our industries and highlight all that they contributed to our communities in ways of taxes and employing our citizens. Their management and employees also contribute much to the civic and nonprofit organizations by organizing volunteering events and contributing to fundraising campaigns. So today I would like to read the proclamation proclaiming October as Industry Appreciation Month. Whereas the Wayne County Board of Commissioners support the endeavors of industry in Wayne County, whereas the Wayne County Development Alliance hosts an industry appreciation each year to thank the more than 75 manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, machine shops, and other businesses in the county. Whereas events planned to celebrate these industries include a golf tournament at Walnut Creek Country Club and an award ceremony where we will name Industry of the Year. Whereas representatives from our local businesses, industries, and guests who will include officials from the economic development, allies, local and state elected officials, community leaders will attend these events. Whereas October is recognized as Manufacturing Month, this is an annual tradition giving the community a chance to pause and thank our local industries for all they do for Wayne County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Industry Appreciation Month.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2021 Industry Appreciation Month proclamation.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? If none, I'll show sign of right hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Julie.
Okay, we're just a couple of minutes late, but we have a 9:15 public hearing. Will you go over that, Mr. Crumpler?
Okay, this is to receive public comments on the requirements of the 2021 North Carolina Community Development Block Grant Program, Neighborhood Revitalization category. The county intends to apply for approximately $750,000 in CDBG grant assistance to be used for the following proposed activities: housing assistance, including rehabilitation, clearance, and reconstruction, and storm drainage improvements, including piping and ditching in the Rolling Wood community in Dudley, North Carolina. And David Harris is here.
Okay, well, officially, our public hearing is open. David?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
At the last meeting, we had a public hearing that discussed different possibilities or different categories of funding that's available through the state's community development program: housing, public improvements, water, sewer, drainage, and that sort of thing. There's been a request now for some time from residents in the Rollingwood community regarding drainage, significant drainage problems, in fact. We have taken a look at that problem. We have talked to the residents within the area, primarily along what is in essence a dedicated drainage easement that separates the Rollingwood Drive, Rollingwood Court from Dale Drive, which is where the ground zero is for the drainage needs. Doing the assessment for it, it is clear that section, those houses, and also the severe drainage needs meet the criteria for consideration for funding under the state's Community Development Block Grant Program. The drainage need is severe. There is a combination of moderate and severe housing needs. The households fall within the low moderate income categories, which is a HUD requirement since this is HUD funding. So it meets that criteria. We would recommend that the board consider authorizing the filing an application for 2020-21 funding in the amount of $750,000. This will address the drainage needs along that drainage easement, the drainage corridor, I guess we could call it, as well as the housing needs that are abut that drainage easement. It makes it all a compact project area. The housing component eligibility is determined by the house has to be owner occupied, so we're not able to do any of the tenant houses or vacant houses. And the houses have to have some type of either moderate or severe need. When we exclude the tenants and the above income and the one above income and the vacant, we wind up with 6 of those households that would be eligible for housing assistance, some rehabilitation, repairs. There are a couple that would be eligible for the replacement housing on site, which the county has done in numerous places in the past, where we replace the houses with a modular state building code house. So the households fit that criteria for housing assistance, and the area itself fits the criteria for storm drainage improvements. It will be a combination of piping on, including the DOT right-of-way on Old Mount Olive Highway, and some piping into the subdivision, and then some major clearance on that drainage area, which basically is now humongous trees that's impeding the flow of water. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions?
How many ditches are we looking at? Mr. Harris, how many ditches are we looking at here?
There's one, that drainage easement is just one long 800-foot ditch. There's also some perpendicular ditches that will drain one from or actually swale now, from Rollingwood Court. But it would primarily be that one long drainage easement between those two roads, Rollingwood Drive and Dale Drive.
Are we tiling it and covering it, or are we leaving it open?
It will be piped from, including, part of the majority of the problem is that the piping under the highway is too small. And homeowners have added some piping between those houses. That's also too small, and all of that would need to be taken up in larger pipe. Before any project like that is undertaken, the engineer would actually do a drainage study and evaluation as to what is most appropriate. There are some situations where if we can extend that piping, we're certainly going to want to do so as far as possible, but a lot of times you'll reach a point, you're coming out of the ground, and if you don't have enough fall to be able to get drop inlets in and everything else, you just cause another problem. So it will be whatever the best option is to get the water off. It'll be a combination of some ditching restoration and piping.
Will DOT repair under the road larger piping? Have we approached that to accommodate this?
Well, it'd be a matter of would they contribute or not, but that would that would be a negotiation that would take place if we actually had some grant money we could do something with on the east side of it.
Well, Mr. Chair,
If not, then the grant program, we budgeted money to replace that pipe regardless of whether DOT contributes or not.
but Mr. Chair,
Williams.
in regard to what the DOT would do, they've already stated that once there were repairs done, they would work on their end, but they won't do anything until we work on our end. So at this point, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion to adopt Resolution 2021.
Well, we're still in public hearing right now. We can
Okay,
we'll make the motion after we come out of.
Yes, sir.
public hearing.
I think we need to realize that, that pipe is actually going up on the road, and it's actually deadheading into the railroad. And that's going to cause an issue as far as the size of the pipe and amount of water that comes through. So that's all got to be coordinated, between DOT and the railroad. So that's going to be a
Complicated.
exactly. It's not going to be
Challenge.
easy. It's not going to be easy fix.
It's
The DOT has gone out and done their preliminary hydraulics on the situation, but to my knowledge, unless they've told Commissioner Williams, they've not committed to anything until they see actually the actual drawings. But I think we can work with DOT to try to make things work. But the problem is getting it in, getting CSX, DOT, and the county all on the same page, and that's going to be
the project is not a large project in the scheme of things, but the complexity that exists between DOT and the railroad, and of course the grantor agency, where we've got certain requirements and limitation with CDBG funds. That's where really the time and effort and expense is going to be making all that come together in order to get the project done. And that's why we're going to, the grant request is for the maximum that's available.
And I do need to ask one question. What does it address first? Does it address the drainage, then the houses, or the houses, then the drainage?
You can't do the drainage without doing the housing.
Okay.
In other words, it's a housing program
Okay.
that allows some of the grant funds to be spent for other public improvements that would benefit those houses. In this case, the greatest need is drainage.
Right.
So we've combined it. We would wind up bidding the drainage work, but by that time, because that's going to be a longer process, we would have bid the housing. In other words, we will know what the budget is before the awards are made for the drainage.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Is there a percentage based off of that grant, what goes to what portions, or is it all basically go to the housing and then whatever's left over goes to the drainage? Or vice versa?
You're going to have to address the housing needs,
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure that's
and
clear.
then
Okay.
the funds that are left. But we tried to budget money that would, in fact, the cost itself, the per unit cost, are higher as part of that estimate because of all these things that we've discussed and the complexities, in order to try to make sure there's enough to do that. Now, we're only talking about that area of the subdivision where you've got your one outlet. Within the subdivision, there's a lot of other drainage needs that exist, but there's no need to do any of those until you can get that outlet addressed. Then you can start addressing some of the other ones.
Right. Thanks, sir.
Any other questions? Right, is anyone in the audience, this says a public hearing, does anyone in the audience have anything that they would like to say?
No one signed up, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
All right, this public hearing is officially closed then. Mr. Williams?
yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make the motion to adopt Resolution 2021-33, a resolution of the County of Wayne authorizing the filing of an application for 2021 Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $750,000.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries. Okay, the public hearing is officially closed. Let's go back up to unfinished business. Mr. Crumpler.
Okay, item number 1 under unfinished business is discussion of sewer issues, and Kendall's here to speak with you on that.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I had Ms. Carroll, gave y'all the financials that Shanna's put together for us for this fiscal year starting in July. And obviously those look real good, but don't be misled. We hadn't had a lot of rain in July and August either. So, like I said, they do look good, and a lot of the repairs we have made and are making are working. And it's obvious, by the numbers that they are working. But we do have a couple of more things we're doing. Mr. Honeycutt set up a meeting with the city. I think we've got a meeting with them on the 11th to go over getting our billing lined up a little better. And also, one thing and the sewer agreement that with the county to update our sewer agreement. So we're going to meet with them October the 11th at 2:30 to go over those things. And like I said, there's a few billing issues we've got that we want to resolve, and that'll make a little difference in our money as well. Also, another thing that we're doing, Withers Ravenel, last year we paid them to do a sewer study for us, and came up with some issues that we, some really significant issues, really. And we have fixed all of them in-house that we can. And Mr. Honeycutt's reached out to Withers to go ahead and bring us some cost estimates and drawings on what it'll take to do the more complicated repairs, underground slip lining pipes or replacing pipes or whatever. And that'll make a giant difference in our sewer as well. So we're going in the right direction. We're just taking steps to get there. So that's kind of, at this time, that's kind of all we have. Like I said, those two things is where we are, and everything else is going pretty good.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Were you able to smoke all the schools before school resumed?
We did. We got all those done, and honestly, I just shockingly found very little issues. I think we've got a couple that we do have to do that we didn't get to. Southern Wayne, maybe one or two that we didn't get to. The ones kind of that we would, I don't want to use the word hoping, we just felt like we'd find some serious issues on a couple of them. Didn't find a lot at all. Found some issues, some, and resolved those, showed the school system was there with us, showed them what we found, and they've resolved those issues. So even those, a 4-inch cap off at the edge of a roof draining, that's a big difference in water. And every drop of water we keep out of the system works. So, like I said, that contributes to these numbers looking good as well. So.
Now, I got one follow-up question, Ms. Barbara. I'll let you go. 117 South Shopping Center. On your August report, you said there's a motor issue. Has that been repaired?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Ms. Barbara.
Mr. Chairman, the meeting on October the 11th, I would like to attend that meeting.
Sure.
If that's okay with the rest of the board. I have some questions on your report here. I wished I'd had more time to do some analysis on it, but I can pick up something real quick on it.
There you go.
Number one, in July, gallon difference between Goldsboro. I know the meter has tripped. It's not right. I can look at the number and tell you it's not right. Number two, Hamlet Village. What is the status on that?
Told y'all I met with that guy a couple of months ago, and we smoked it and showed him what we found, and he has gone out and made some repairs, made a few repairs, but we've sent him some invoices here as of late that are pretty significant invoices. He sent us a letter yesterday, wants to meet with us and go over it again. So I think we're going to meet with him and his couple of his contractors and show them what we really wanted fixed versus what actually got fixed, because they did make some differences, but there's still a lot of water coming from that trailer park.
Well, you can look at the difference in the rain for July is 9.34, and August 4.94. You can see the difference in the rain, what the rain actually causes. That's 335,820 gallons
Yep.
difference
Yep.
in the difference in the rainfall.
Yep.
Number two, I look at Brogdon Elementary. I know school was not in July, but look at the difference. School won't even in use, and you got 166, or 1,661,777, and when school's in use, it's 151. So where is that water coming in from?
Right, and that's what I say, we know we got issues out there, we know we do.
And then, same thing with Brogdon Middleton.
When it shows Brogdon Elementary, though, that's everything, that says Brogdon Elementary, that's everything from Seven Springs to Brogdon, that's just the pump station name.
All
That's-
right,
that's
let's
a
look
lot
at
of stuff on
Woodland
the other side.
Church. We know we have a sewer meter there,
Yep,
and it's only reading 2,600 and 3,900. Is that all it's reading?
right, we've got a new meter that we're reading, we're comparing now, so.
What are we comparing it against?
Their meter, the meter at
And what does
Brogdon,
their
the
meter
meter at
say?
Brogdon Elementary reads everything from Seven Springs all the way to Brogdon Elementary. Our meter reads the middle school and everything at Brogdon from elementary on. It reads everything that comes into us. So,
It just don't.
it's
And what was
confusing.
the
It's
meter?
very confusing. It is,
Oh, I know.
it is.
I've done 7 years of this. That shopping center, what was the issue with that meter?
The trash, it had built up trash in it, and under the eye, there was trash built up under it, and it was reading crazy. That meter's not, it usually on a typical month, the water readings that the city sends us and the sewer reading we get, they're always pretty close. That one reads pretty close, and that month it read really crazy number.
There was one thing that, I asked, I would like to see the cost on this here, what Goldsboro charges us to keep that in focus, and I don't see it anywhere on here.
Okay, yeah,
I would
Shannon
like-
can give you any of that stuff.
Do what?
We can get Shannon to put any of that
Yeah,
stuff on
because
there.
that
we need to.
helps when I look at some of the figures on different things. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know, this is a question for Kendall or Mr. Borden. You said you got to revisit the contract per se, sewer contract with the city. We have X amount of gallons purchased from, I say from the city, I don't know if it, or from the state or whoever you purchase it from. From the city. There's no way that they can cancel those gallons that we've purchased if they have an issue with overage, correct?
Worded that these size are that we wanted them to agree to keep them from doing that.
Okay, got you. All right, thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm not quite understanding why it is the county's responsibility to go to a private mobile home park and identify issues that they have.
Right.
Our job is on this side of the meter.
Yep.
I think we went there and just in order to try to assist him. My point is, until we take a position that meter, when it runs and it says that you used 184,000 gallons of sewer, we're sending you a bill for that. It is your responsibility on that side of the meter to resolve any inflow that you may have.
Yes, sir.
Our personnel shouldn't be over here solving their problems, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Is
You
it
send
water
him the
meter?
bill, he'll fix the problem or pay the bill. Either way, he's going to have to pay the bill. If he wants to reduce his bill, he will solve those issues. I mean, that's just my feeling.
Do we do that by water meter, or are we doing the
We've got
sewer
a sewer
meter?
meter.
So we're
yes,
using
ma'am.
the
We
sewer
have a sewer
meter.
meter on it.
Okay, so we're billing him by the sewer
Yep.
now. I know before we were just doing water.
That's
right?
His,
Well, actually, they had a sewer meter there, they just wasn't using the reader,
Right.
the meter reading.
Yeah.
correct. And his tenants are paying off of water meters, but we've got a sewer meter that reads way different.
And
than-
he's being paid, he's paying for that.
Well, he's been billed for it.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue that he was getting to a while ago. You go on that third page, and it shows the amount that he has been billed. Kind of shows the reason he wants to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
so,
He'd like to discuss that with us.
yeah, I understand.
Nothing like
That was the main
things don't-
issue.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
That was one of the main issues on that side of the, you know.
We've got two issues, and that's the main one right
Right,
there.
exactly.
Yep.
Now, if I might continue there.
Sure.
You and I have had a conversation, and we've talked with Craig on this, and that we do have funds, COVID funds, available and can be used to install meters at these sites, not using the meter reader reading from the water, but our meter on sewer.
Yep.
And on these large customers, we need to avail ourselves of that. We need to know what our readings are correct, rather than taking the water meter.
Yep.
And why? Because we've already found what they're doing. They're taking their gutters, they're taking their storm drainage, and they're dumping it into our sewer, and the county taxpayers are paying for that. So put a meter on it.
Yes, sir.
Put a meter on it. I mean, we've got the funds to do it, and we need to do it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let me ask you one more question. On that Hamlet Village, how many residences are left in that?
12, 13 maybe.
How many?
12, 13 mobile homes. maybe.
Like that, okay. So-
Yeah.
Any other
I had
comments?
3 times that at one time.
You
Yeah,
are?
yeah. Oh,
I had 3 times that amount of
yeah.
homes.
That's why it's actually diminishing.
Any other questions or comments for Kendall? I would like to add that, this is not our problem, but it is our problem because, with Gober handling basically all of the sewer in the county other than Mount Olive and a little bit from Pikeville. But the base has just been awarded several $1 million through the Department of Defense to work on I&I on the base. It's not our problem, but then again, it is our problem since the city is basically where it's all going. But, but they've been awarded several $1 million to work on I&I on the base because we feel like, or some of the ones I've talked to, when they did away with a lot of the base housing and all, were those lines capped off, we just don't know. But anyhow, let's hope that this is going to help the situation for the city anyhow.
Yes, sir.
Which helps us. Which helps us in the long
Well,
run.
in the long run, it helps us too.
Yep, it does.
Kendall, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendall.
Next item, Mr. Crum.
Item number 2 is a motion to issue written authorization to Mosley Architects to proceed with full design services for a new detention center on the property adjoining the Kerry Winders Detention Facility, an appropriate budget amendment contingent upon the county attorney's approval.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Our Facilities Committee has met several times and have received the study and the recommendations from Mosley regarding our current jail. And it was very clear at our last meeting, based upon the presentation, that we need to move forward with actually building the new detention center. The cost of renovation would be prohibitive in our existing facility. So with that in mind, we are bringing before to the board a motion, and I so make a motion to issue a written authorization to Mosley Architects to proceed with full design services of a new detention center on the property adjoining the Kerry Winders Detention Facility with the appropriate budget amendment contingent upon the county attorney's approval.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? If None, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Okay, item number 3 is a discussion of the possible construction delivery methods for the proposed detention center facility.
Mr. Chairman, the Facilities Committee did in fact discuss, once we in fact do have the full design, that we need to determine how we would want to move forward in the construction method. The options were, and Chip helped me with these, one would be construction manager at risk. Another one would be design build. And the third one was actually pre-qualified. Well, help me with this one. It was actually putting it out for bid to pre-qualified contractors.
Yes.
Okay. We did not have a full recommendation. To give a little bit of explanation in regards to, I think we're all familiar with design build. We're all familiar with actually putting it out and hiring a construction manager at risk. The third option is one that was used at several construction projects on a jail, which is a specialized construction project, where the contractors, we would put it out for bids, but the contractors would have to be pre-qualified that they.
Have that wording for you, sir?
Oh, please help.
Design, bid, build method with pre-qualifying factors.
Okay. But these are individuals that have got previous experience in building this type of project. So we are asking the board to make a determination of which method for us to proceed on so we can put this out for bid. Not for bid, but actually for an RFQ. Chip, you want to chime in on that? I'm sorry, Mr. Crumpler.
You know about as much as, I mean, you know more than I do about it on the third one. I'm not well versed on that third method. And I don't know the benefits cost-wise, but there were some benefits going that route.
Well, from my understanding, if I recall, my understanding was if you just put out an RFQ for a construction manager at risk, then it would not necessarily leave you with only contractors that had experience with this type of project. And the other option, of course, is putting it out to bids on pre-qualified contractors. We did not see a tremendous difference in regards to cost savings, one versus the other.
I think it sounded like the county per se may have a little bit more control with construction manager at risk. The only other thing on the pre-qualified, and basically it's going to be kind of the same scenario with the construction manager at risk, because our architect can kind of help us with the selection process of who has got. I mean, they've dealt with several, and I think when it's all said and done, what I got out of it, the construction manager at risk might be a little bit more beneficial to the county in the long run versus the pre-qualified, because the way I understand it is we're basically, we've already got the per se design or the preliminary design part done. So that's kind of taking that part, that's in the architect's part of it. I mean, I think it's, like say 6 in 1.5 dozen other type deal, but we are familiar with the construction manager risk, and I think it gives the county a little bit more options or control,
We don't have to decide this today.
No, this is not an
I think
action
I
item
would
today.
hold up and let me obtain more information and find out a little more details and bring it back to you at the next meeting.
Well, I agree, but like I say, I think when we get the, legally get the architect on board, I mean, I think we could have another, little, meeting and kind of look more in depth.
He can give us more information.
Exactly.
Okay. I agree with Commissioner Gurley on that. Also, I think it should, once you do your research, send it back to the Facilities Committee and let the Facilities Committee bring a recommendation to this board.
We just wanted to go ahead and start the conversation because once the architect contract signed, then the next phase would be actually deciding how we would want to proceed on either construction manager at risk or putting it out for bid.
I just think that this board relies on the leadership of the Facilities Committee recommendations. So if you come back with two recommendations, that'll be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Next item.
Item number 4 under unfinished business was a discussion of the county commissioner's legal ability to set the days and times for the office of the Register of Deeds. I'll turn this over to the board.
I sent you a memo, included the copy of the statute and a copy which is NCGS 161-8 and a portion of something the School of Government puts out. This board took action to require that the Register of Deeds office be open from 8 to 5 when other county offices were open. And it did that again. And this board has the legal authority to do that.
I have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
First off, this statute, did you speak to anyone at the School of Government, or did you just pull the statute?
I spoke to somebody at the School of Government earlier when the decision was made. I did not speak to them since before I wrote this.
Okay. Second, the hours of Register of Deeds been the same since, I don't know, I guess the courthouse been open. And since the Register of Deeds been in the courthouse, that's 8 to 5, 8 to 4:30, whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see any difference that's making. Second, in this second section on page 21, if an emergency occurs that requires the closing of the office temporarily without the commissioner's prior approval, the Register of Deeds shall coordinate with the county manager. I think that's been the problem that everyone that the board has spoke on before about the Register of Deeds closing due to a COVID emergency, an outbreak in the office. And it seems that if this last section, Monday through Friday, if other county offices are otherwise open, is a little play with words there, because if the tax office is open and they don't have a breakout, that's not the Register of Deeds. She can't, you know what I mean? So you're gonna tell her that she has to keep the Register of Deeds office open because the tax office is open, or because any other office is open. That doesn't make sense, because now you're taking away, if an emergency occurs, that she has the right to close her office down. When the tax office had issues, it was closed down for a day. Nobody said a word. But it seems that it's some issues here just because it's the Register of Deeds office that it was closed, and, due to public safety of the employees and everything else. So I want to make sure that we are doing the right thing, and we're not just overstepping because we have issues with the current Register of Deeds or whatever that may be. We know in the past this board has made, with a previous board, some of those members are still up here, have made decisions according to her department that has been, quite up to par. So now I just want to make sure that this and what we're doing here is up to par, and everything is according, because I don't want anything to come back and bite us down the road later on.
The purpose of that emergency was like if there was a snowstorm and the whole county was closed down, or a hurricane that flooded and you couldn't open that.
So you don't think a COVID outbreak is an emergency? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I'm just trying to clear that up because I'm just reading what it says. It doesn't say because of snow or whatever. It says if an emergency occurs.
I would
My
say-
thing is saying if a COVID outbreak in that office, that's an emergency.
I agree with you.
Okay, so therefore, under that, she would have the right to close down that office. Under this emergency rule, under this statute, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. So we have to be careful with how we're stating things and how we're saying it because that could come back to bite us legally. And that's the issue that I'm having with the control and power of this board wanting to control every single thing that goes on within the Registry of Deeds and take away that power with previous Registry of Deeds, that was never a problem. So, like I said, you want to fight legally? This is legal. I'm hitting you with the same legal statutes that you're bringing to me and to this board. So y'all can take it how you want to take it, but law is law.
Mr. Chairman.
Any other
Yeah, I
discussion?
got, Mr. Borden, this section on 21, where Commissioner Foster just read, where is this right here coming from? Is this coming from the School of Government, or is this actually the?
That's coming from a publication from the School of Government.
Okay. So down where he stopped at, it says registrars must adhere to these operating hours for real estate registration and may not make exceptions if someone asks for the registrar to stay open late or to stay open during other times to accept an instrument for recording. Is that, I mean, I'm reading.
Purpose of that is in North Carolina, whoever gets the deed recorded first, that they have priority. And what the School of Government is saying by that is that they don't want the register to say open up until 5:30 to let one real estate lawyer go in there and get stuff done.
Right. So it's open to all.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, just want to make sure I got that right.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, how are you? This is for you, sir. I noticed that, I know it's required under the general statute that the registered deed has a surety bond. How do we come to the conclusion of 50,000 opposed to 10,000? Because I know that the statute reads it could be in the sum of 10,000 or more. So was the prior registered deeds, were their surety bond 50,000?
Prior registered deeds bond was 10,000.
Okay, so what's the change now?
The Board of Commissioners raised it from 10 to 50.
When did that occur?
That was last fall.
So last fall, what was the date on that was changed?
It might have been, I'm not sure of the exact date of it.
Well, if it was after the election, we definitely have a problem with that. And we have a problem with behavior and the things that have happened since that election. So I will ask that be tabled until we find out what date that was, so we can handle that properly, please.
I don't have a problem with being tabled. I think that, it's just reasonable to, if the past registered deeds had a surety bond of 10,000, I don't think that it should have changed. I don't think there's any reason to change that.
I agree with you also, sir.
Who pays the bond fee? Does the county pay the bond fee?
County pays it.
The county pays it?
Yes.
So really, what difference does it make if the county's paying it anyhow? The way I look at it, it's just more, not only this department, but any department that's required a bond, it's just more for protection for the county if the county's footing the bill anyhow.
Mr. Chairman, everything is not quite as sinister as maybe some people might want to make it look like. First of all, it was brought to our attention, which had not been brought to our attention before, that the $10,000 bond had been in place for eons. It had never been raised. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And we said, well, wait a minute. We need to have more bondage than $10,000 that was set 50 years ago things have changed, and so we wanted to go ahead and increase. The county pays for this fee anyway. We just wanted an additional protection for the county, that's all.
That's great, Commissioner Daughtry, but once again, I would like to see that date because some other things happen around the fall time that weren't correctly done also. You know, this is fine, the county paid for it, you want an extra bond, whatever, but you never noticed that all of this other time. So I still would like to have that date.
Well, Mr. Parker, is the other county departments, are they also bonded?
Some of them are.
I mean, is that something we need to look at also? I mean, you know, I agree. I mean, some of the other departments, their bond may have been too low for years too. Let's look at all of them.
Finance is bonded.
Tax and sheriff.
Sheriff's
Yeah.
bonded.
Yeah. Finance Department is the LGC directs what the bond is on that. Am I correct on that?
I'm not sure where that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. They direct how much bond you have on that.
I mean, if the county's paying for the bond anyhow, I look at it as an insurance policy. I mean, I don't look at it as any singling out any department. I just look at it as extra security for the county, and the county's footing the bill anyhow.
I think with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, most of the time, we're here to try to save money for the county. And yeah, insurance is something that's needed. But again, according to our statute, we have the discrepancy where we can keep it at $10,000 or a little above 10,000. I don't think we should always go with the max, especially in regard to that department. And my reason is because there has been a lot of issues in that particular office. There has been issues before this person was even elected. As we all know, it was a challenge, her even getting in there. She was challenged by several people who are still challenging her and challenging the department and making it uncomfortable to function.
What's the pleasure of the board? I mean, this is not an action item
I
today.
got a question, Mr. Foster, what were you referring to about tabling something?
I mean, the whole entire motion that you have on, I think page 22 or 23.
This is not a motion, this is just
You
discussion.
say on page 22?
Yes.
Oh, that's already in place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
That's just a copy.
Okay, I thought it was a motion that y'all were gonna make
That's
today.
already
There's no action to take on this.
Okay.
This is just a discussion.
I just wanted to clarify that. So the $50,000 is already in place? Okay.
It's already voted on.
Any other discussion?
Yes, like I said, once again, I still would like to have that date and, to make sure within this motion that, which it's already been voted on or whatever, I guess, whatever date they did that, to look at that last line because you're saying something that's not 100% accurate in my opinion. So we might need to make sure we have, a little bit better legal advice on that to make sure we're not putting ourselves in a situation that's may come back to bite us later on down the road.
You take care of that, Mr. Parker?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Parker, what is other counties' bond for registered deeds? Do we have any specifications on that from other counties, what they have their bonds for? Or so we have some kind of guidelines? Do we know, like Johnston County or any other counties for registered deeds?
I would imagine that Wake County has an extremely high one since their registered deeds stole money from them and got arrested. But I don't know specifically about any of them.
Let me go back to this. Is there a time frame? I'm reading that stuff that's highlighted on page 21. So the board can establish the hours and may establish a deadline presented instruments, well, I guess which would be a deed or plat, whatever, earlier than the office closing time to provide the registrar time to process, record it after receipt before shutting the door. So basically, she processes it on that day that she receives it.
That's right.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, thanks, sir. Just want to make sure I understood that.
Okay? Move on.
All righty. Moving on now to the consent agenda. Having previously discussed that at our briefing.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion on the floor that we approve this consent agenda. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Abstain.
New business. We have a motion to approve a one-year lease of the property located at 1320 West Grantham Street, Goldsboro, North Carolina, for a COVID-19 vaccination site and appropriate a budget amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I so move that we approve the one-year lease as described.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? If none, all show sign of right hand. Any opposed?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Public comment time. Is anyone in the? No one signed up? Public comment time is closed. County managers report.
No comments. Hope it went smooth enough.
Hey, it went really smooth. I was wondering why. It's like. Just checking. I'm sorry.
Well, it's almost as if you did a better job than Craig.
Oh, my.
I mean, goodness. Craig, are you listening?
Yeah, he'll be on the plane. He'll be on the plane this afternoon.
Good job.
Very good.
Board of Commissioners Committee reports. Mr. Darden.
No comment.
The other Commissioner Acott.
Now, that may be me.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for the phone calls and concerns, during my husband's illness and everything. I really appreciate it. It really helped me get through some trying days, and the prayers that the people who called and everything and shared. You don't know how much it helps when you're in a low place in your life that, people take the time to give you a call. And I want to thank the commissioners and everything who did call and everything, and the staff. I really appreciate it. And other than that, my husband is coming along, and hopefully we'll have him home by next week maybe, if everything goes well. And but it's been a trying time. I lost my sister-in-law the same day my husband had the surgery, if anybody didn't know that. And so we've had a lot going on in our family. And but like I said, I'm glad that we're getting a focus on this sewer. It really highlights a lot of the things that's been going on. And I think as we continue along, we're going to see a lot of savings come along and things that need to be repaired and everything. And I do appreciate Kendall and his department for what they're doing. And sometimes you have to ask the hard questions to get the answers. And I don't mind asking them because I've dealt with this for 7 years. And sewer can break you. And that's why I would love to really be on the Goldsboro meeting, because I've been with Goldsboro before on these projects, and I understand a lot.
Calendar invite.
Do what?
We'll send you a calendar invite.
Make that two.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Foster.
No comment.
Okay. Commissioner Gurley.
Yes, sir. We have, several of us attended the economic luncheon, I think it would be, last week. Wayne County should be proud of what we're accomplishing. We've got a lot of great announcements coming. The industry is attracted to eastern North Carolina, which with the help of Mark and Julian and the whole economic team, we've got a lot to be proud of. A lot of good jobs coming, things to try to entice our children and grandchildren to stick around to work, and I guess we'll be selfish and look after us when we get older. But that's the first thing. Second thing is I want to ask Wayne County citizens, male and female, consider being serving your community. Wayne and myself have been firefighters for many a year, is what we would say. It's very rewarding to be able to help people. And it's all facets of life. We have attorneys, we have landscapers, we have doctors, we have plumbers, we have electricians, we have PAs, we have nurses, all of the above, all realms of people that are in the volunteer fire service in Wayne County. Wayne County probably has some of the we actually have the most of any county in the Eastern Firefighters Association. We have the most members in Wayne County. We have been seeing in the East for years a decline in membership. Not as much in Wayne County as much as in the eastern counties. And a lot of it is because the jobs are not in your county. They're not in that district. A lot of our major industry and businesses here in Wayne County allow our volunteer firefighters to respond to calls that they may be in other districts, and we want to thank you for that. Daytime response has always been an issue because everybody works, and like I say, the farming community is not as many farmers as there used to be. They still till the land, but instead of 30 to 50 acre farmers, there's 3 and 4 and 5,000 acre farmers. But that being said, we don't want to get into a situation as some of our neighboring counties have got to in having to shut fire departments down. We're nowhere in that dire straits. We don't want to get there. So what I'm asking you, and look, you don't have to be 18. I mean, you can be 35, you can be 60. I mean, we need everybody. The state requires 36 hours a year of training. It's basically 3 hours a month. Each fire department meets most of the time one night a week, other than the fire school. So I just implore you to think about it. Go to your visit your local volunteer fire department. Go to a couple of meetings, just see how it goes. You'd be surprised. You might be interested. There's a lot of stuff that's come down the pipeline in the past 37 to 50. How many? 60 years. Anyway, I'm just messing with Wayne. Firefighting. Next thing is 62. 62. Excuse me. You say 62? Yeah. Next thing is, if you approach an emergency vehicle, that being fire, EMS, law enforcement, DOT, wrecker service, anybody that has flashing lights, or for that matter, somebody just broke down on the side of the road, there is a law on the books, move over. It's very taxing to be trying to help get somebody out of a car, and you're on a major highway and people come by running 60, 80 miles an hour. We try not to shut down the highway because we know everybody's got things and they're on a time constraint, but our people's lives are number one concern. And we just ask that that you slow down and move over and think about our first responders. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want everyone, a lot of news hasn't been talked about Mount Olive and their moratorium. And I think that we need to continue to get it out there so that our representatives can help with the issues that Mount Olive's having. This board can help because that Mount Olive is a great place. We have land there, we can have industry there, but we cannot have industry, we can't have growth until we do something about the sewage capacity there. So I just want to keep it clear that Mount Olive people, they may not be saying much, but they need the help. And we're in a position where we can help. I like to see us set up meetings because our meetings kind of have gotten a little bit, they dwindled down. We have a working group here, and I think we need to continue to focus on our working group with our commissioners, Ms. Aycock and Freeman. Freeman, me and him went to a meeting over there last week. And there's serious issues there. I don't know where our representatives are, but I'm sure they know it's a need. And I'm hopeful that they will try to help Mount Olive. It can be a great location. Population-wise, there's land that could be developed to build that city up. But we can't do it until we fix this capacity issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hardison.
Commissioner Williams, you stole some of my thunder about Mount Olive, but I agree with you 100%. They do need our help from the board and as individuals. Three things I have besides Mount Olive is one, the COVID, the booster shots are going to become available. But when they're announced, before you show up there, just check the guidelines because there's a time frame from your shots to when you can have the booster. There's also some age requirement. And folks your young folks, don't rush out to get the booster right away. Let the older people get it while we have it, because I think it's going to be a limited supply to begin with. I may be wrong on that, but that's what I'm thinking. And folks, COVID is still here. I know of 3 cases right now in one family. Everyone had the vaccine, and all 3, the grandmother and the grandfather and the daughter, now have COVID. The good news is it's not going to be as bad as if you didn't have it. Chip may feel differently, but please do that. And the numbers in the hospital have fallen somewhat, but it's still holding steady. So, and last thing is the county fair. Wayne County's fair is going on. I think it's going on through the 9th of October. Please get out there, have some fun with your folks. So you wear your mask if you want to, but we've gone around a year, 2 years without being able to do something like that. So let's go out and enjoy ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I just have a couple of things. To follow up on what Commissioner Gurley said about volunteering, he kind of, highlighted the fire service, but there's other agencies out there also. I mean, there's plenty of good nonprofit agencies out there that really needs volunteers. So, step up and volunteer because in the long run, it's going to benefit your community and the county. But there's so many worthwhile organizations out there. I had the honor and privilege this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to attend, to go with the Friends of Seymour up to Langley Air Force Base. And I've had the opportunity to take this trip before, but I have never been. But it was eye-opening on some of the things that's going on in the military today. And we do have people in high places that's fighting, helping us fight for Seymour Johnson. You know, it's trying times for all branches of the service, and the Air Force is no exception. I mean, they're struggling on things. Their numbers of, you know, we have a volunteer services now. I mean, far as military, we no longer have the draft, but they're also having issues retaining people. But it was really to sit down and talk with some of the people that we sat down and talked with. It's very encouraging, the strength that we have at Langley, because I mean that's the 2- and 3-star generals. That's where they're based at. In fact, General Mack is 3-star general. He has 19 bases under his command, and he knows how important Seymour Johnson is. But I hope in the future that we can kind of spread this trip around and some of the others go, because, like I say, I'd had the opportunity to go before, but for some reason or other I didn't. For one reason or another, maybe I didn't feel like it was important, but I really, it was a wake-up call to go and listen to what's going on. We think we've got problems just operating. We don't even have any problems to what they have. But again, I appreciate y'all letting me read the breast cancer proclamation. It means a lot to me. And as Commissioner Freeman said, Hardison said, you know, we didn't have a regional fair last year. We do this year. Let's try to support them, because they support the county. There's a lot of things that goes on out at the fairgrounds all during the year that we would not be able to host in Wayne County if it wasn't for their facilities. So it's a give and take. You know, they support us, so we need to support them. And that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything? Do I have a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor we adjourn. All in favor show sign of right hand. Chip, we may keep you.